Hi, thank you so much for tuning in to the Prosperity Posse testimonial panel. I want to introduce to you 6 clients that just graduated that are here in Austin, Texas. We've been having so much fun today doing our video shoot, photo shoot, and we want to give you more insight to the experience of Prosperity Posse and what is it, because starting a business, stepping into your power, owning your confidence can feel really scary and hard at the beginning, and investing in a coach can feel really scary, and there's just so many, and who do I choose? And so over the next little while in this session, we want to give you some good insight into what this program is, what the experience is, and you'll hear it from the women who've just completed the course. So thank you, ladies, so much for being here.
Thank you.
Yes. And so, if anybody wants to share, like, where were you before we did Prosperity Posse, before you did the coaching, and why did you choose this course? Like, what was that resistance or that pain point that you were in that had you choose this?
I found Jolie a long time ago, and I've been following her forever, and I reached out to her with frustration with my business and my pricing, wondering what I should value myself as, and she took a free call and connected with me. And I had already invested $10,000 into a previous coach and wasn't experiencing the support Jolie gave me in 30 minutes. And I, in that moment, decided to leave that coaching agreement and start Prosperity Posse, and it was by far the best experience I've ever had. I had almost a $30,000 launch within 3 months of working with her. I closed 4 high-end clients. I mean, I tripled my income by signing up for Prosperity Posse, and it was the most incredible feeling. But the most important thing is, like, I really stepped in to who I was, more so as a coach. I'd never believed more in myself by having, like, the support of other women stepping into their power, and then having Jolie support you with tools, modules, and weekly check-ins, and talking. And I mean, it's incredible what happens when you just have women supporting you and seeing your greatness and understanding that it's hard. You're going to have struggles, to push through them, to believe in yourself, to value yourself. And that's what Prosperity Posse did for me. It was incredible. So I recommend it to anybody. And now we're here, which is even more phenomenal. So yeah.
And I had a very similar experience too to Mikkel. So I had already been a certified life coach, and I had been coaching for 2 years leading into before I started Prosperity Posse. And for me, the struggle was I had all of this training and all of the certifications backing me, and I already stepped out as a national speaker and a trainer, and it looked like I was doing well, but I just wasn't getting the traction in my business. And it actually didn't occur to me until I started working with Jolie that what I was missing was that entrepreneurial mindset, that I had all of this high-level training, I had all the certifications that I needed, I was knowing how to serve clients very well in session, but I just couldn't get people to sign up at a consistent level that was growing my business and making me feel supported. And so within the first conversation, she was like, here's your brand, and like seeing things visually and being able to receive so much from her, because she's an intuitive genius, truly, and being able to like just have this vision that she saw for me and where my brand and my business was going. And really I was getting stuck because I just wasn't creating the income to move into the next level of system and structures and services to provide for my business that would really help me go to even the next level. And so within the first month even of Prosperity Posse, we pulled together my signature program. We really put the systems and structures in place, but more than that, I started to work my business as an entrepreneur instead of just sitting back on my laurels as a coach. And having that entrepreneurial mindset was the thing that got me out there, and it was a hustle in the beginning, and now it's not a hustle anymore. It's like there was a little bit of a kickstart in the beginning, but once that process was started, then clients started coming in. I launched my signature program and had a $27,000 launch. Thank you. Within the first 3 months of working with Jolie. So, I mean, I just really needed the framework for how to get my work into the world, and she totally gave me that.
Yeah, and I'd say that on top of the framework and the systems and structures, Jolie's just really good about holding that space for your bigness, showing you that, yes, you can actually do this. So in the last 6 months, I've generated over $35,000 in revenue, and I'm now full-time a coach, and it's crazy. I knew I wanted a platform, I knew I wanted to help people, and I went to her with a lot of ideas, and she gave me the belief that yes, I actually can do this. And I think that that's more important than any process or structure. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember seeing Jolie post about Prosperity Posse, just like a random Facebook post. And at the time, I was actually the owner of a social media agency. And I really hadn't considered coaching before, although I've always had a passion for helping women, entrepreneurship. And I got on the phone with Jolie because I wasn't really sure exactly what Prosperity Posse was, but it sounded cool. So I was like, sure, I want to get on a call with this amazing woman. And she saw in me just like the spark and the passion for coaching that like I didn't even know was possible. I really had no familiarity with coaching at all. And so just throughout that call with her, just having her see that in me and inspire that, as you were saying, Sophie, that bigness in me was such a cool experience. And it had me, even though I still like wasn't totally sure what I looked like as a coach, I said yes to Prosperity Posse because I was just so curious about what was possible in that space. Yep. And by far the best decision I've ever made. It's totally transformed my life. Yeah. I can't remember now even like not being a coach, which is crazy because it wasn't that long ago that I, started this new business. And I just had my first, I think it was like $24,000 launch. So that was really exciting. My signature program is so exciting, so amazing. And none of that would have happened without you, Jolie. Like, I didn't even have that idea in my head. And Prosperity Posse just showed me like what I could do in this space. And it feels so good. I pop out of bed in the morning, like I'm so excited to get to work. And to just live life fully, and I think that's part of what you teach and part of what you coach is not
making
just
sure it feels good.
Not just the hustle and the grind of like being an entrepreneur, but really like stepping out of that space and be able to see like, okay, this is how I want my life to look like, not just my business.
Right.
Absolutely. Yep. So thank you, Jolie.
Thank you.
You're amazing.
And Jolie and I met in a super interesting way in an RV at Burning Man a couple of years ago. And she saw me doing a psychic reading for somebody, and right off the bat, she supported me in my work, and so that's how we connected. But over the years, I just watched her go from this person who I didn't know to this monumental success. And I was tracking that, and I was climbing in my business, but not like that. And so it came full circle around to where I actually had to take a couple months off my practice. I was not doing well, and I needed some time to soul search. And when I was ready to go, everything just aligned, and I was like, Jolie, she was the one that I wanted to work with. So she was that full body yes. I didn't have to think twice. When she launched this program, I was like, I'm in that one. That's what I'm doing. That's the thing. And my goal, off the start was to achieve 10K months consistently. And actually coming here today, I was $1,000 short, and I just had a client deposit $1,000 into my account. So that's been consistent ever since I started with Prosperity Posse.
That's amazing.
It's incredible.
Yeah, and similar to Taylor's story, actually, I met Jolie through another mastermind that we were both a part of, and she recognized something in me that I didn't recognize in myself. So for that, I forever thank you. And she actually pulled me aside. We weren't having one-to-one calls because it was a group dynamic, but she offered to do a one-to-one call and just really got right down to my soul of where I was stuck and where I was shining, and not knowing that I was shining, and really helped me put structure around things that I was kind of already doing with the coaching, but not making a business of it. And so I went from 0 to 100 in the last 4 months,
real quick.
And it's just been phenomenal and extremely comfortable. It's in a lot of ways we've pulled ourselves out of the comfort zone with the book and with all the work that we've done and the challenges that we see in the real world. But there was never a day I wasn't looking forward to the work that we were doing.
Yep. Yes.
So it's been phenomenal. Yep.
Wow, ladies. Whoa. It's so beautiful. And so what you're watching is the women who've graduated the Foundations course, which is Prosperity Posse, and then we went on to do Posse Circle Mastermind, and we co-wrote this book, Empowered, Sexy, and Free. So in 4 months, we did advanced coaching and worked on the biggest launches of our careers and co-wrote this book. So we're all here in Austin now to do this live event. And what I want to ask you guys next is, what now is possible? So we have these businesses, we're making 10, 20K months, our finances are rocking, our businesses are rocking, we're in our contribution. What is now possible for us in our lives and just our expression?
Anything is possible. That is my answer. It's being able to help people on a large scale, and
absolutely.
there's so many different avenues that you can do that. But for me, what's so liberating is that now I'm full-time an entrepreneur, and I have a life by my terms and my own design. And really, you changed my life in that capacity. It's so in alignment with who I am. So I think that when you follow what really lights you up and what feels good for you, anything is possible because you're being your best self.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The space Jolie holds you in when you're working with her is very deliberate. She wants you to be very deliberate with what you create. And so anything really is possible, like you said. And I feel like when I'm creating my business, I mean, I did an international retreat this year, which was new, and she helped me through that. That was actually part of the business that I took into Prosperity Posse, and I up-leveled the people coming into it. I mean, it was a high-end international retreat, and knowing that I can do another one, and knowing that I can write a book, knowing that we can inspire people and host events, there's this level of confidence and knowing and connecting with women that I've never had before. So, I mean, absolutely anything. And she holds us in that space. She sees where our edge is and then pushes us a little bit past that. And then we're able to mirror that with other women, because that's what creates greatness.
Right.
It's just pushing yourself a little bit past that edge of comfort.
Right, you have to jump.
Yeah,
You jump. We all jump.
And you build your wings on the way
You show
down.
us that it's okay to jump.
Yeah.
What was the quote? Comfort and
Growth do not coexist.
comfort and growth
Yes.
don't coexist.
Don't coexist. Yeah, so real.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
For me, what feels true of like what's next, so building the foundational piece of my business was so key to just having that baseline of support and income and being able to build the launch pad for what is next. And I now also have, through your use of calendaring, like I have space in my calendar, so I'm not running around like art of
The art of calendaring.
Yes.
That's something you'll learn in Prosperity Posse.
It was revolutionary because I
First
had
video.
so it was the thing that really helped me craft my ideal life and create like pockets of time. So I had space for service, but I also had space for creation. And I noticed that I wasn't just running around like a crazy person trying to do all the things, that I actually knew what I was doing when, and being so much more intentional about my creations. And so now that that foundation is done, I don't have to go back and do it all over again. So it's like building that next layer and that next layer. And so we all have big dreams now of being able to write another book and to produce podcasts and to grow our platforms and to be able to serve more people. And now those things are possible because the foundation is built.
Yes,
Right,
absolutely.
exactly.
If I can speak to the woman watching, I feel like we all shared a common goal, which was we are here on purpose in this reality.
Yes,
We know that we were meant to impact the state of the world, that we care deeply about human consciousness evolving,
Yeah.
and we're all not living in the illusion that we can't do life in the same way we've been doing it in history and have a world that thrives for everyone.
Absolutely.
And so our absolute devotion to human consciousness evolving, and for me, I say I'm an activist for human potential, and like finding that spark in somebody is like, that's my art. I just love that more than anything. And so for the woman that's watching that feels like, whoa, could I actually contribute something? Like, who am I to do that, to take up space? Like, what would you guys say to that woman that's like, yeah, that's great for them. All those women are beautiful and successful and 30K launches, 20K launches, but it seems so far away. Like, because you guys all weren't there, you know? Like, we all started with our first $100 client. Or, I mean, I was doing clients at $40 an hour. And so if you can speak into the heart of the woman that's watching, and
You should feel the fear. Like, it would be abnormal if you didn't feel that fear, and it's going to feel clumsy at first, and it's going to just be a work in progress. But you just to know that if you're feeling that, it's a sign you're moving in the right direction, and you should bet on yourself.
And also just like that's where the power of coaching really comes into play
Yeah.
is because that coach and the other women in a group program, they're going to be the ones that are going to light a fire under your ass when you're feeling like I'm not good enough. I feel like this is going to be a huge failure. Like, what am I even doing? Just struggling with imposter syndrome. You know, all women do it. And just having other people to support you and encourage you and just like to see the highest version of yourself and like hold that up for you and be like, look, this is it. This is you.
Yeah.
You can be this. All you have to do is make that choice.
Yes.
And like, that's powerful.
Yeah, this is your one life. Go for it.
When like with Prosperity Posse, like I've had coaches, I've invested a lot of money into other programs, and there's something really special about Prosperity Posse, like the dynamics, Jolie, the group, and so with me, I've invested the money, and like this is something that I would love for people to commit to, no matter how scary it is, no matter, you know, if they don't think that they're worth it, they're not ready, because none of us were ready. Like I remember meeting everyone for the first time, and we're not where we're at today. We couldn't say these things. I was like, I mean, I told Jolie my prices, and she was like, "What are you charging? How many clients are you seeing a week?" And I was like, "Yeah." But like we all grew through it. We all had that thing we didn't want to tell the world, and this platform gave us that ability to overcome that.
And it feels so good.
And I know there's a lot of coaches here, but actually the Prosperity Posse entrepreneurship training is designed for anyone with a professional service. So however you're seeing clients, I've worked with you know, personal assistants and interior designers and even photographers, and so anybody wanting to grow a creative business and you want to monetize, you want to own your time. So it's not only just coaches, although I love working with coaches and finding everyone's different niche. I also want to ask you guys, like, what was the sisterhood component like? And I know that it's so easy to do the entrepreneurship journey alone and to feel alone and like I'm the only one that's going through this and like on this roller coaster with massive dips. And so what was it like to actually have a community and a sisterhood behind you? And I'd love to hear from everyone on this.
I'll go. So I like the purpose thing, right? So I've been saying to everybody that's trying to hang out, like, I'm super on purpose, super on purpose, super on purpose. And, you know, as a healer, I was hanging around a lot of people who were like broke archetypes, broke healers, or not making enough money. And I was just like, somebody asked me, like, who, you know, you are the 6 closest people to you, so examine those people and you can tell about where you're at. And I was looking at this and I was like, that's not who I am. And so I chose to become super on purpose, and for a while there, all of my friends were digital.
Zoom call.
Because these are the women that are actually taking action. They're actually saying something and going for it versus talking and thinking and dreaming. And so, you know, for the woman that's scared, go for it. Like, you can have your ideal life, but you have to work towards it every single day. And this sisterhood has been so profound for me, just to be around. None of us do the same thing. We're all very different. But like the cohesivity and the energy here, and just, you know, the support. I was happy to have all of my friends online. I was looking forward to my meeting. Like, this is it. And to have us all together now, you know, it's just been a really, really profound and beautiful and supportive experience. So thank you, ladies.
Yeah, I second that. And for context, for those that are watching, we all are dispersed across the United States, and none of us, actually, Sophie and I live in the same state, but I think most of us are not in that situation. And so, as we walked up today and met each other in person for the first time today, I heard someone tell me, "Nice to meet you," and I just was taken aback because I feel like I've known these women for a lifetime. My relationship with you guys, even though it's only gone back about 4 to 6 months, is deeper than people that I see on a regular basis. And
Totally.
it's the amount of vulnerability, it's the amount of support, it's the amount of honesty, it's the amount of accountability, which all brought us, you know, like we impacted each other's lives in a very short amount of time. That's depth.
Yeah, and it's definitely imperative as an entrepreneur to have this support. It's absolutely imperative. You need people that have big dreams and vision like you do, and you need people that can always speak to your bigness when you don't believe it yourself.
And not compete with you. You win when I win. And that feeling that you can actually have that, like the people around you will be celebrating your $30,000 launch.
Yeah, that's interesting you say that because we can all say these numbers and it means nothing to us because we know what was behind it. It was our heart, it was our soul. We saw what was so hard and we supported each other. We held each other in each other's bigness. And that's huge to find women who don't compete with each other. You know, and with some of our some of the things that we do, they're kind of similar. They're not the same. But none of us cared. We were sharing ideas and being supportive and saying, well, try this, I've done this. And you don't find that. And we cultivated that over the internet, over Zoom. And it's just incredible. Like, it's definitely a sisterhood. And I met everyone and it was like, I met them physically, but I'd already met them emotionally and mentally. So I already knew them. And spiritually. Yeah, we all knew each other. It's just our physical bodies were like, oh, you're taller than I thought.
Let me see your side profile.
So yeah, totally.
It was really fun for me coming into this sisterhood because I had been in the coaching world for a couple of years before being and working with Jolie, and so I had been familiar with the idea of sisterhood before, but for me what was different in this is that I think that sometimes we get into these like circles where there's like, we bond over negative experiences and we bond over what's not working, or we bond over how hard it is, we bond over, and I feel like, yes, we have to have a baseline of understanding, but I started to notice that I was bonding over things that were actually going well. And that was huge for me because in all the other, in several other circles that I was in, there was a little bit of a low-lying feeling of negativity and woe is me, and keeping ourselves stuck in these holding patterns. And there was just like, let's take the holding patterns off and start bonding over more positive things. Let's bond over the dream. Let's bond over where we're going.
So true. That's such a good way of putting it, Jenny. Because I mean, really, it's like I feel like we all brought positive energy to the call, whether or not things were going super well or we were going through a little bit of a rough patch in our business. Like, we still showed up for each other.
Yep.
And it was like we were excited to do that because we knew that each one of us was contributing to the larger group energy.
Absolutely.
And so I feel like we really made it a point, like, I'm going to show up for these women, even if things aren't like totally great right now. And then you leave the call afterwards with this totally elevated energy where you're like, feel like really bright and shiny and just you can conquer the world.
Yes. Yep.
Thank you, ladies, for that. And yeah, again, to the women watching, I want you to know that we've been where you are, where it's like, I want this thing so bad. I want this life. I want this experience. I want to see my own power. And so any parting words to the woman is like, oh, but I'm so scared. Should I do it? Like, and more specifically, like, how would she know if this course, if Prosperity Posse was right for her?
That's a good question. I don't know if you ever know if anything is right at the beginning, but it feels right. For me, following Jolie, I always loved her. There was something about the people, her stories, everything that she was about. And she also triggered me. She was someone I wanted to be. And I was actually intimidated to be like, I want to work with you. And so if you're feeling that, if you're feeling triggered by all of us, it might be the thing you want to do because it's telling you, I want to have what they have. And this is the place to find it. And it's not scary. It's absolutely the most liberating, safe space to grow in. So move towards it.
Yeah. It comes down to a choice. It's just a choice.
Yeah.
I think another big indicator is like when you can't stop thinking about something, you're like obsessively thinking about it. Like if you guys get on a call with Jolie or just see something that she's posted or watch this video and you just can't stop thinking about what that would be like to be a part of that type of sisterhood with that amazing coach. Probably a sign that you should take the jump and just do it.
Yeah.
And on that note too, I know I learned this from you, Jolie, is that the truth will make you feel light and the lie will make you feel heavy. And that was a lot of how I made my decisions in my business about what to do and where to go next. And I think you even told me that, like, well, I'm here for you and just feel in, like if this makes you feel light, then there's nothing to lose. And so I really love this idea that there's no way you can mess it up. And if you just feel this sense of lightness about like stepping into your dream business and making it happen, not 10 years from now, not a year from now, but now, if that really lights you up and makes you feel super excited, then that would be a yes in my system. And if it makes you feel like you're clenched around a stomach ache and just can't get there yet, then give yourself a little more space and time. But But if you're like full body yes and feeling that lightness, that's when you know it's yours.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Book a call with Jolie.
Just do it.
Yeah.
We have nothing.
Just do it.
Thank
You
you.
just have to talk to her.
Thank you, ladies, so much. And again, to the woman that's watching, like, you can maintain your femininity. You can maintain your pleasure. You can maintain your flow and your connection to the divine while being a badass, hustling entrepreneur. And there is a balance. You get to learn that in the game, but you'll never know until you try.
Yeah.
And so I'm just so thrilled and excited for you guys, and just the ripple effect into the world is so big and so beautiful. And now you guys know the formula. You know how to do it. You know how to have a successful multiple 5-figure launch. And now it's rinse and repeat, and do it as many times as you would like to in this life. And I'll tell you, the pleasure of knowing and trusting that you can make your own money, and like out of nowhere, boom, 5 clients, 10 clients, call them in, attracting your clients. It's a freedom from the system that we weren't taught, that wasn't predictable, that we had to claim for ourselves. And it's something that I treasure and value and hold so dear to my heart. And the fact that you guys have that, and you know exactly what it's going to take in your world to do that forever. You have that power. So thank you, ladies, so much. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you.